You notice the quiet inside, not the peaceful kind, but the empty kind. Days pass, and you feel more like a shadow than a person. You wake, you move, you function, but you don't feel. The world keeps speaking, but you can't hear its meaning. The sun shines, yet it doesn't touch you. Music plays, but it slides over you like water on glass. You wonder when the colors drained away. You wonder if they'll return. Numbness feels safer than pain, but safety can feel like a prison. You begin to forget the language of your own heart. The words you once trusted fade into static. Your body feels distant, like it belongs to someone else. You go through motions with no thread connecting them. Others speak of joy, grief, laughter, and love. You nod, but you don't remember the texture of those feelings. Life becomes flat, like paper without depth. You feel like you're watching yourself from a distance. You wonder if you'll always stay behind the glass. You start to question whether numbness is who you are now. Yet a small voice whispers that this is not the end. You remember fragments of feeling, soft echoes from long ago. The memory of laughter with a friend. The memory of tears you once allowed to fall. It's the memory of your chest tightening when you cared. They feel far, but they are not gone. They wait behind the door that numbness built. To feel again is not about tearing the door down. It is about gently placing your hand on the handle. You notice the fear that comes with this thought. Fear of pain returning with the feelings. Fear of being overwhelmed once more. Fear of disappointment if nothing happens. But numbness is not absence. It is a pause. A pause your mind created to protect you. Protection is not failure. It means you survived something hard. It means your body and soul cared enough to shield you. But shields grow heavy when carried too long. You are allowed to set them down, slowly. You are allowed to be curious about what lies beneath. Curiosity is softer than pressure. Curiosity doesn't demand, it only invites. Ask yourself gently, when did I first notice the numbness? Is it after exhaustion built up for too long? Is it after grief became too heavy to bear? Was it after you shut down to survive? Naming the origin doesn't solve everything. But it gives shape to what feels formless. Shapes can be faced more easily than fog. The mind numbs to keep the heart safe. But safety without feeling is a half-life. The first step is noticing without judgment. Notice how your chest feels as you breathe. Yes. Notice the emptiness and name it. I feel numb. Simple words, but words that open a door. Acknowledgement is the first thread back to yourself. No forcing, no rushing, only naming, only presence. You do not need to demand tears. You do not need to force joy. You only need to let awareness sit beside you, like a quiet friend who doesn't need to fix anything. In numbness, silence feels endless. But silence has textures, if you listen closely. You might notice the faint hum of longing underneath. You might notice a tiredness that has been waiting. You might notice the smallest flicker of wanting more. Even faint longing is a sign of life. Even tiredness is proof you are still here. Numbness is not death. It is the soil before the seed sprouts. The soil looks empty, but life stirs beneath. To see numbness this way softens the shame. Shame says you are broken, but numbness says you are protecting yourself. Protection can be thanked, then slowly released. Imagine saying, "Thank you for keeping me safe," and then saying, "I'm ready to try feeling again." Readiness does not mean immediate feeling. It means willingness to take small steps. Small steps toward warmth, small steps toward aliveness. You do not need to run toward the light. You only need to let your eyes adjust. You are not weak for feeling nothing. You are strong for enduring the emptiness. Strength is not only in joy, it is also in survival. You are surviving still. This survival means you are ready to begin again. Begin with breath. One inhale, one exhale, without forcing meaning. Let breath remind you that your body still moves. Movement is proof of life. Proof that the story continues. The story is waiting for you to return to it. You will not return all at once, but you are allowed to begin with this moment. You begin where you always are, inside your body. Numbness often lives in the body, before the mind notices. Muscles tighten, shoulders lift, breath shortens. The body whispers, but numbness mutes the sound. To reconnect, you listen with patience. It's not to force feelings, but to notice presence. Place your hand over your chest. Feel the rise and fall, even if it feels distant. The rhythm belongs to you. That rhythm is proof you still exist beneath the silence. Sit quietly and notice your feet on the floor. The ground carries you without asking anything back. Let yourself sense that support. Even small grounding reminds you are held. Move slowly, stretch gently, shift your posture. Notice how your body responds. Even stiffness is a kind of voice. Even emptiness has a weight you can feel. Ask softly, where do I hold tension? Is it in my jaw, my neck, my stomach? Place awareness there without judgment. Awareness alone begins to soften what has been hidden. You don't need to release it all at once. You don't need to fix what feels stuck, only to notice. Numbness loosens when it is seen. The body carries stories the mind forgets. Burnout, grief, fear, they leave their marks here. Sometimes the body freezes so you can keep moving. The freeze is not failure, it is survival. To thaw takes time, like ice under morning light. Light never rushes, yet the ice shifts. You allow the same patience for yourself. Breathe into your belly. Notice. If breath meets resistance, resistance is part of the story too. Breath reminds you of cycles. Inhale, exhale, begin again. Your body is part of that cycle. Even numbness is part of that cycle. You are not outside of life. You are still inside it. Touch something near you. A table, a piece of fabric, the arm of a chair. Notice the texture against your skin. Texture reminds you that sensation still exists. Sensation is the doorway back to feeling. Start with the smallest details. Cold glass, warm tea, rough wood, soft blanket. Let these details remind you that numbness is not emptiness. Numbness still touches the world, though faintly. The world still reaches toward you. Even when you feel far, contact is possible. Movement helps too. Walk slowly. Feel each step. Touch the earth. Your steps write small messages to yourself. I am here. Even a short walk tells your body it matters. Movement stirs what has gone quiet. Your body remembers before your mind does. Remembers warmth, pain, connection, safety. These memories live in muscle and breath. By noticing them, you honor your survival. The numbness doesn't vanish instantly. It softens in layers, like clouds thinning. You do not demand the sky. You wait for openings. Those openings appear in small sensations. A sudden shiver, deep sigh you didn't expect. A moment when your shoulders drop without thinking. These are signs of thaw, signs that life is still present inside. When numbness feels endless, remember thaw is slow. Slow is not failure. Slow is natural. Your nervous system heals in rhythms, not in leaps. Trusting rhythm is part of learning to feel again. Notice hunger or thirst when it arrives. Notice fatigue when it calls you to rest. Caring for these signals is emotional practice too. To honor your body is to reopen the channel to feeling. Sometimes feeling begins as discomfort. The ache of tired muscles, the sting of tight skin. Even discomfort is better than absence. It means you are alive to sensation. Let discomfort be acknowledged, not avoided. Acknowledgement transforms it into presence. Presence is the soil where feeling grows again. Let your hand trace your arm slowly. Notice the warmth of your own touch. Self-touch is a language beyond words. It reminds you that comfort can come from within. Hold your face gently in your palms. Feel the shape of yourself. Even this simple act tells your body you are here. Numbness is not absence. It is waiting. Your body waits for you with patience. It has carried you through every silent day. Meeting it now is an act of kindness. You do not need to demand joy. You only need to whisper, I am listening. In that whisper, numbness begins to loosen. The body begins to remember you again. Once the body begins to thaw, feelings wait at the edges. They don't rush in. They arrive in fragments. At first they feel faint, like distant echoes. You may notice them and doubt they are real. Doubt is part of returning, because numbness taught you not to trust feelings. But now you give yourself permission to test the ground. It's permission to invite gentle sparks. Begin with something simple. Notice beauty around you. The way light rests on a surface. the sound of leaves moving in the wind, the shape of steam rising from a cup. These are small invitations to feel. Beauty does not demand. It simply offers itself. Let yourself pause and receive. If nothing stirs, that is okay. Even noticing is a form of feeling. Feeling often returns first as awareness. Awareness grows into sensation. Sensation opens into emotion. This process is patient, like dawn before sunrise. Try music next. Choose a song you once loved. Sit with it. Let the notes move through the air. Notice if a chord tugs faintly inside. That tug is a spark. Maybe it fades quickly. Maybe it lingers like smoke. Either way, it is proof that feeling still lives. Let the spark exist without judgment. It doesn't need to become fire yet. A spark is enough to begin. Sometimes emotions appear disguised. Laughter that feels too sharp. Tears that arrive without clear reason. Frustration that flares in small moments. These are not failures. They are early signals of thaw. Even messy feelings mean life is stirring. Give them space without control. Tell yourself it's safe to feel even if I don't understand. Understanding can wait. Presence comes first. Presence with whatever arises. Imagine emotions like guests at the door. Some arrive warmly, others awkwardly. You don't have to welcome all at once. You only need to open the door a little. See who waits there. Say quietly, you are allowed to visit. This permission softens the grip of numbness. It invites life back into your home. Sometimes joy is the hardest to welcome. Joy feels dangerous after numbness, because joy can be lost, and loss hurts. So numbness told you not to risk it. But even a small smile can be a safe beginning. A smile at a kind word. A smile at a soft animal. A smile at the sky's colors shifting. These small joys are safe to notice. They do not demand you to hold them forever. They only ask you to notice for a breath, then let go again. Grief may also return. Grief you thought was gone. Grief you never let yourself touch. It may arrive in waves that feel heavy. Heavy, but real. Heavy, but alive. Feeling grief is proof of love you carried. Proof you once cared deeply. Proof your heart remembers even when numbness covered it. Allow grief to sit beside you. It does not need to be solved, only witnessed. Witnessing grief is also a spark of connection. Anger might come too. Anger you buried to stay safe. Anger that protected you from being hurt further. Meeting anger gently is part of returning. Let yourself say, I hear you. Let anger breathe without destroying. Anger wants recognition, not punishment. By honoring it, you make space for softer feelings to follow. Emotions come in layers, one unlocking another. They are not always comfortable, but they are always alive. To feel even discomfort means you are present. Presence is healing. Healing is not about only joy. It is about the whole range. The whole range makes you human again. You're not broken for being numb. You are human for learning to feel again. Each spark matters, no matter how small. Each spark adds warmth to the silence. Over time, warmth gathers into light. Light grows into the fire of being alive again. For now, the spark is enough. Sparks need tending to grow. You don't rush them. You create space for them. Space becomes practice. Practice becomes reconnection. Begin with simple rituals that remind you of presence. Drink water slowly and notice the coolness. Let the sensation linger before swallowing. This small act tells your body, I am paying attention. Attention feeds connection. Connection feeds feeling. Try journaling without pressure. Write a single sentence about what you notice. Even I feel blank is a truth worth writing. Words give shape to what hides in silence. Shapes help you meet yourself more clearly. Continue daily with one small sentence. Over time, sentences stretch into reflections. Reflections stretch into emotions. But start where you are, without demand. Another practice. Gentle movement. Not for exercise, but for expression. Stretch your arms wide and let them fall. Twist your body gently, let breath follow. Dance slowly to one song without care for form. Movement lets emotions speak through the body. Emotions often live in the body before the mind. Moving them gently helps them surface safely. Safety matters more than speed. Numbness begins to fade when safety grows. Create a space that feels kind to you. A corner with soft light. A chair where you feel grounded. A blanket that carries warmth. Let this space be your sanctuary of return. A place where numbness is met with patience. A place where feeling is welcome however faint. In this space, light a candle. Watch its flame flicker. Flames remind you of the spark within. Fragile, but steady when protected. Allow silence in your sanctuary. Silence without expectation. Silence as a friend, not an enemy. This silence lets your heart whisper, and whispers are enough to begin again. Practice noticing sensations in daily life. The warmth of sunlight on skin, the cool air of evening, the weight of fabric across your shoulders. These moments are not small, they're bridges. Bridges between numbness and presence. Bridges that carry you back to yourself. Gratitude practice can help too. Not forced gratitude, not lists of achievements. Only one thing each day you are glad exists. A tree outside your window, kind message from someone, the steady breath keeping you alive. Gratitude is a soft doorway to feeling. It invites warmth without demand. Allow play into your day. Play is often lost in numbness, yet play is a language of aliveness. Try something silly, even if it feels strange. Doodle shapes with no purpose. Toss a ball in the air. Make faces at yourself in the mirror. Play awakens hidden joy. Joy reminds you that numbness is not permanent. Allow rest as a practice too. Rest is not laziness, it is repair. Lay down without distraction. Let your body sink fully into the surface beneath. Rest tells your nervous system, you are safe now. Safety opens the door to feeling. Breathing practices are another path. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold gently. Exhale for 6. Repeat until your chest softens. This rhythm brings calm and openness. Calm is fertile soil for emotions to grow. Speak kindly to yourself, even if it feels unnatural. Simple words, I'm here, or you are safe. These words, repeated softly, plant seeds of comfort. Comfort helps feelings find their way back. Let nature guide you. Walk among trees, sit by water, touch soil. Nature reminds you of cycles: growth, rest, renewal. You too are part of those cycles. Being among them helps you trust your own. Share small truths with someone you trust. You don't need to explain everything. A single sentence. I feel numb. Speaking truth out loud is healing. Make space for connection to others. Connection to others nurtures connection to yourself. These practices are not cures, they are paths. Paths walk slowly, one step at a time. Each practice is a gentle hand leading you back to feeling. Feelings grow stronger when shared. Numbness often teaches you to hide. To survive, you learn to keep quiet. But healing invites you back into connection. Connection is where feelings breathe more freely. Begin with honesty toward yourself. Admit softly, I am afraid to feel. Admit softly, I want to try. Ability starts with truth, not perfection. Truth opens a door for gentleness. Share with someone safe, even a small piece. Say, I feel disconnected. Or, I don't know how to feel right now. You don't need polished words. You only need honest ones. Honest words carry the weight of your return. When another listens, numbness loosens, because you are no longer alone with silence. Your presence mirrors your own presence back to you. A nod, a kind glance, a pause, all remind you that you matter. If no one is near, speak aloud to yourself. Say the words your heart longs to hear. You are not broken. You are still here. Self-connection is also real connection. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is strength and softness. It says, I am human, and I allow myself to be seen. Let your voice tremble if it must. Trembling is part of truth. Truth does not need to be steady to be real. Tears may rise when you speak. Let them. Tears wash the numbness away, drop by drop. Even a single tear means you are thawing. Even one is enough. Sometimes silence in the presence of another is enough. Sitting beside someone without words, feeling their nearness soften the walls around you. This too is connection. You don't need to explain everything. You don't need to justify why you are numb. Your being present is already enough. Vulnerability deepens when you let yourself receive. Receive kindness without deflecting. Receive care without guilt. Allow someone's words of comfort to enter your chest. Let them rest there. Receiving is as important as giving. To receive is to accept you are worthy of care. Worthiness does not need to be earned. It is already yours. Letting connection in is proof of that worth. Sometimes numbness breaks most when laughter arrives, laughter shared with someone else. Laughter that surprises you, loosening the walls. Let yourself laugh, even if it feels strange. Strange laughter is still alive. Strange laughter is still yours. Connection through laughter is healing. Connection through tears is healing too. Both remind you that emotions are meant to move. They are not meant to stay locked away. Vulnerability invites this movement. Vulnerability gives permission for others to show their truth too. When you open, they often open. Together, you remember the humanity you share. This mutual remembering warms numbness into feeling. Sometimes connection comes from nature as well. Talking to the sky, the sea, or a tree. Letting yourself be witnessed by the world around you. Nature holds without judgment. Its presence allows you to be honest without fear. Whisper your truths into the air. They will be carried gently, not lost. Vulnerability with nature is still real connection. It strengthens the bridge back to yourself. Let art be a companion too. Write words you don't show anyone. Draw shapes of emotions you cannot name. Sing softly when no one listens. Creative expression is vulnerability with yourself. It lets what is inside take form outside. Once outside, feelings feel lighter. Vulnerability is also choosing to rest in another's presence. Laying down the weight of self-protection for a moment, letting someone see the unpolished parts of you. This is courage. Courage that says, I allow myself to exist as I am. Even if numbness still lingers, even if words stumble, being seen while numb is still healing, because it teaches you. You are worthy even without feeling, worthy even in silence. Connection is not built on performance. It is built on honesty. Honesty, even fragile, is enough. Vulnerability plants seeds of trust. Trust grows into warmth, and warmth slowly teaches you how to feel again. You have begun to notice sparks. You have practiced small rituals of return. You have allowed connection and vulnerability. Now you learn to live with feeling again. Feeling is not a final destination. It is a flow you move with each day. Some days bring warmth and clarity. Others bring heaviness and confusion. Both belong to the same life. To live with feeling is to welcome change. Change is proof you are alive. Alive people feel many things, not one. Let yourself accept the variety. Let yourself accept the unpredictability. You will not always feel strong emotions. Sometimes you will slip back into numbness. Numbness returning is not failure. It is your body asking for rest again. Rest is part of the rhythm. Notice the numbness without fear. Say softly, I have been here before, and I know how to return. This memory is a map. Maps make the unfamiliar familiar again. Your path is no longer lost. With practice, numbness loses its power because you trust yourself to move through it. Trust is the soil where stability grows. Stability supports you when storms arrive. Storms will come, grief, loss, exhaustion. But you no longer fear them the same way, because you know storms bring rain that nourishes too. Nourishment is hidden inside even heavy days. Feeling again means being willing to meet both joy and sorrow. Both are teachers. Joy teaches expansion. Sorrow teaches depth. Together they make you whole. Wholeness is not perfection. Wholeness is acceptance of every part. Every part of you deserves a seat at the table. The joyful self, the grieving self, the tired self, the numb self too. None of them need to be erased. All of them make up the truth of you. Live with feeling is to sit with all these selves. To sit with them and listen. To listen without judgment. Judgment closes doors. Listening opens them. Doors once closed now, let air move again. That air is breath, and breath is life. Breath continues even when you forget it. Feeling returns in the same way. Continues beneath the surface until you notice again. Notice gently, without demand. Life moves in cycles, not straight lines. You will circle back to old lessons. You will circle back to numbness sometimes. But each circle brings new understanding. You never return to the same place twice. Each return is layered with growth. This layering builds resilience. Resilience is not hardness. Resilience is softness that can bend without breaking. You bend because you feel. Feeling keeps you flexible. Flexibility keeps you alive. To live with feeling is to risk pain again, but it is also to welcome joy again. The risk is worth the fullness. Fullness outweighs emptiness. Fullness gives meaning to each breath. Meaning is not always grand. It lives in small gestures. The kindness of a friend's word, the comfort of a warm drink, the beauty of evening light on your wall. These small things weave together into life. Feeling them makes the weave strong. Without feeling, the weave unravels. With feeling, it holds. Feeling again allows you to love again. Love is not only romance. Love is care, connection, presence. Love is noticing life and letting it matter. Love is letting yourself matter too. Loving yourself means accepting where you are, accepting when you feel, accepting when you go numb, accepting both as part of your truth. This acceptance brings peace. Peace that doesn't erase pain, but makes space for it. Space where you can breathe with your whole being. Breathing with your whole being is freedom. Freedom to live, not half live, but fully present. Feeling again is not about never going numb. It is about knowing you can return from numbness each time. And in that knowing, you live fully, as you were always meant to. This is quiet philosophy, where thinking isn't loud, and life doesn't need to be either. Subscribe if you haven't already, not for noise, but for something you can actually feel.